So una patience and continue for listening. This na a presenter, na NIDEPA present for so the issues them. Yeah, the honorable will not start it for talk. After the speakers they don't talk now, the presenter NIDEPA talk now. Yeah.
There's a judgment already. No way. Please, ECOWAS should come to our rescue. Africa is suffering. The people are suffering. We need you to come and help us. Africa needs people that will push the government to do what they're supposed to do. We cannot be claiming we have a democratic government, and yet in action, nothing is not showing. Access to justice. You mustn't have all the money in the world for you to get justice. You must not have all the money in the world. There are a lot of people that they can't do anything because why? There's nobody to speak for them. Because why? There's no access to justice. They see some ladies, they are raped. I know of a case, a young man that was raping students in the school, and the guy carries HIV. And he was raping people. Nobody can talk. No lady will even want to come and say he raped me. Is there nothing ECOWAS can do to help us in Africa? We are going down day by day. All the technological input and all that, they are not showing. And that is why you see the migration. Everybody wants to go over there, want to go to Western world. And there, they are treating us with disdain, as if we are nothing, because everybody wants to go and live their life there. All right. Building partnership. Collaboration with social organizations, international partners like ours, and other stakeholders is essential in addressing human rights challenges collectively and effectively. Collaboration among these entities is paramount in ensuring the protection and promotion of human rights within the region. Regional and intergovernmental cooperation, this is very, very key. With ECOWAS, and yet we can't work together. You must pay through your nose. You must be scrutinized. In fact, when you go to another ECOWAS country, they will treat you as if you are not even a member. That's what is going on. Human Rights Commission, International Human Rights Commission advocates for regional and intergovernmental cooperation to address human rights issues effectively in combating terrorism, which sits prominent as one of the drivers of insecurity in West Africa. Regional cooperation thus plays a crucial role, which by all standards creates an environment where human rights are protected. Effort to address these challenges require international cooperation and coordinated action. IHRC advocacy in human rights in Africa. We have done a lot, though what we have done, we still need to do more. Because we need to do more so that people can feel, especially the people in the rural areas, they can feel the impact of government. They can feel that they have the right to live like others, the way we are living. In the pursuit of human rights advancement in Africa, the International Human Rights Commission is actively involved in advocating for human rights across Africa, with a focus on various key issues. Some of the highlights of IHRC advocacy in Nigeria, West Africa include in Nigeria, advocacy for human rights education in school system across Africa. That's what we are doing. Even in Abuja, we have some people we are giving scholarship. We have a lot of people we have empowered to see how they can succeed like others. Protection of vulnerable population, which led to IHRC forming a partnership in a signed memorandum of understanding with the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and a working cooperation with National Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Federal Road Safety Corporation, Federal Ministry of Justice. There's a book I wrote recently, last year. I will present that book to Honorable Speaker. Okay, International Law and Comparative Department and the Nigerian Police in an effort to strengthen dialogue. IHRC, in a bid to promote democracy and good governance, has established cooperation with Electoral Commission in some West African countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Gabon, VED and Cote d'Ivoire, monitoring elections and ensuring citizens' involvement in election as a civic right. initiation and execution of educational support projects, promoting access to justice. IHRC work to promote access to justice for all individuals in Africa, advocating for fair and impartial legal system that upholds human rights and the rule of law. I was opportune to visit, to be in some police cell in Nigeria and correctional centers. I know how many people we have been able to free. You see somebody that is kept for long just because of 50,000 naira. You start asking what is going on. I know somebody that will say, please let him go because of 9,000 naira. So we have a lot to do. In fact, we need to visit these people to see what they are passing through. You see somebody that has been given a bail, he cannot fulfill the bail condition, and nobody is there to speak for the person. A lot needs to be done, and that is why we want to draw your attention today to see how you can help us in Africa. Let there be a framework that can be able to make the government obey certain rules and regulations. Make the government see the people, not only when they need election, not only during election that will become friends. After election will become enemies. You can't even wave, sir. If you wave, you're in trouble. Promoting access to justice. By fostering this partnership, IHRC aim to foster human rights mechanism, enhance accountability, and uphold international human rights standards in Africa. In conclusion, our discussion on the pressing human rights situation in Africa, it is imperative we reflect on our current status as developing nations, to uphold our culture, values, and heritage, and to address the widespread hunger and malnutrition within our borders. The circle of operation instigated by authoritarian leaders, inadequate policies, unfunded education and healthcare system poses a risk to the future of Africa. Hence, the foundation of the actualization of our basic human rights as Africans anchors now on our readiness to see the Africa in us, judge our journey thus far, and act accordingly. Therefore, it is necessary that immediate action is taken and cooperation is fostered on both the national and regional stages. As representative of ECOWAS Parliament, we must champion the defense and advancement of human rights within our borders, likewise throughout the wider region, through joint effort and steadfast commitment to integrating human rights considerations in our policies. Please take note, to integrate human rights considerations in our policies and initiative as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We can pave the way for a future that is characterized by fairness and equity for every individual in Africa. Let us also remember that what we do today, we do for the generation. Thank you.
Representative of Center for Humanitarian Dialogue AG can proceed to mount the podium to present his paper. You have 20 minutes, please. 20 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speakers of the ECOWAS Parliament, members of the ECOWAS Parliament, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to be here today. My name is BARBATOV. I work for the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue, which is a Geneva, Switzerland-based private mediation foundation. The Center for Humanitarian Dialogue is active. Next slide, please, if you would kindly roll the slide here. So a few key facts on HD, the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. It is headquartered in Switzerland, in Geneva, Switzerland. Was founded in 1999 on the principles of humanity, impartiality, and confidentiality. And what we have tried to do over the decades is to help in preventing, mitigating, and resolving armed conflict globally through the means of diplomacy and mediation. HD is currently operational in over 50 countries across the world and has engaged on several processes, say close to 100 processes across the globe. We're active, we're operational in continents to ask why. Why focus on the Horn of Africa? Why draw lessons from the Horn of Africa for West Africa? Are there correlations there? Are there any real lessons to be drawn from this far-flung region of the continent to our region? I would like to say, to answer those sort of questions by starting to say that Sudan, which is the most active conflict in the Horn of Africa today, actually shares a border with 7 countries. Some of them Central African countries, some of them Sahel states, which actually are immediate contiguous neighbors to West African states. So basically the point is the Horn of Africa is not that far away from us in terms of geography. There are of course other ethnic filial ties that we'll come to shortly. The second point is that some of the effects of the conflicts in the Horn we actually bear in these parts. You would be surprised to learn that some of the refugees, some of those that have been displaced by war and violence in these parts actually are residents in this part of the continent. Historically, we know that what has happened in places like Libya, which shares a border with Sudan, have had severe impact on our own instability in this part of the continent. The Horn is theater to the most devastating conflicts in the world. Like I mentioned earlier, Tigray. Tigray accounted for over 600,000 people killed. In Sudan today, a conflict that has been on for over 12 months now, about 16 to 17 months now, over 10 million human beings, Africans like us, have been displaced across the continent and beyond. Over 10 million. Of course, needless to say that solidarity with another region on our continent is a reason why we must also seek to learn. So basically, to also talk quickly about, to clarify what I mean by the Horn of Africa. The Horn of Africa refers to countries in the easternmost part of the mainland Africa, situated along the southern boundary of the Red Sea, extending into the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean, and sharing a maritime border with the Arabian Peninsula. It's quite broad. If you would kindly go to the next slide to show the map, which sort of highlights some of the countries. You look at the Indian Ocean to your right. If you would kindly look up, you would also see the Arabian Peninsula, the Gulf of Aden, etc. So it is uniquely placed, geography